Amie, is it true or is it not true that you
is it real or not real?
Yes, real or not real that you bumped into the love of your life?
It's real. It's definitely real.
So what happened exactly? Maybe you can give us the full narration so everyone can hear about the steamy moment that you shared with Josh Hutcherson.
I don't know about steamy. Awkward is more like it. Well, I was going to a comedy show at the Upright Citizens Brigade in Hollywood, and it's kind of like in this little trendy area where, like, cool kids sometimes hang out, and it's like this small theater. It's like 50 seats, and it's for my friend's birthday. We got there kind of late, and they were like, oh, well, we can't let you in unless you guys all sit separate. And so we were like, fine, let's just go. We'll all sit separate. So we walk in, and being that, you know, writing like on HG Girl on Fire, I'm seeing Jennifer Lawrence's face all day. I'm seeing Josh's face all day. So I'm pretty like good at recognizing them. Make no mistake, I walked in and I just was like surveying the audience, but probably within like 2 seconds, my eyes just went directly to him. I just knew it was him the minute I saw the gray fedora, and I almost like I don't even know. I don't remember walking to my seat from that point.
Well, the question is, what happened once you saw him? What did you do?
Well, once I saw him, I grabbed my best friend Lauren from the back of her shirt, and I was like, Lauren. And she's like, what? And I'm like, Lauren, there's someone here. And she's like, what are you talking about? And I was like, somebody is here. Oh, my, it's you know the Hunger Games? You know why I always talk about the Hunger Games? And she's like, yes. And she's like, I'm whispering in her ear, and I'm like, it's the kid who plays the main guy. He plays PETA. And she's like, I don't know who that is. And I'm like, just keep walking, just go. So we get to our seats, and I'm like sitting there, and I'm freaking out. And she looks at me, and she's like, Amie, if you don't calm down, I'm leaving, and I'm not sitting next to you. And I'm like, well, you're kind of screwed because there's no other seats in the theater. So you're stuck, and you need to help me calm down. But needless to say, I literally spent the whole entire 2-hour show, because I'm in this small room, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm in a small room with Josh Hutcherson. Like, this is not a big room. This is small. And I'm feet from him, and I'm, like, going through every single scenario. Okay, so if I just say, hi, you know, you're in the Hunger Games, right? No, why would you say that? Duh, he's in the Hunger Games. So then I'm like, well, maybe I should just introduce myself. I really respect your work. I saw your work, and the kids are all right. That's kind of lame, too. I had no idea what I was going to say.
So he left you speechless.
I remember I was online when you tweeted that you saw him, and I just cracked up because, I don't know, of all the people to end up in the same room with him, I think it's so amazing that it was you, since you've talked about, like, loving PETA and stuff like that, and the fact that you're, like, so involved in the Hunger Games fandom. Like, what are the odds?
That's just exactly what I was thinking. I was like, this is not, like, it can't be him. And it was when he got up to go to the bathroom in the middle of the show, and then he came back. And there were so many times. Well, of course, I was, like, watching him the whole time. I don't even remember the show. But when he came back and I saw him, like, full on, like, got to look at him without, you know, anyone really catching me looking at him, that when I saw it was him for sure. Because there were a couple times I doubted it. I was like, Amie, you know, people look like everybody. There's just no way. There is no way. And when I saw him, and I was like, yep, that's him. That's him.
Okay, so you sat through the entire show, like, having an anxiety attack and wondering what to do. What happened when the show ended? Were you able to make contact?
And in a very embarrassing way, there were 2 exits in the theater, and basically, like, the 2 exits led into the same hallway. And, of course, I'm watching every move that he makes, and I'm like, where'd he go? What door is he going out of? And he went out the opposite one of me. And so I was kind of bummed about that. I was like, there's no way that we're going to, you know, walk out together or whatever. And so then as I'm going to get off these, like, kind of like bleacher-type chairs and exit into the hallway, he stops right as me and my friend Lauren are exiting the aisle into the hallway and lets us go in front of him. I couldn't even look at him in the face. I was like, and so I grabbed Lauren again, and I'm like, Lauren, he's behind me. And she's like, Amie, stop it. You're embarrassing. I'm like, no, okay, I'm going to be cool. So I just kept walking, and I was so freaked out that he was behind me that I was just awkward. I know I was like walking stiff. I wasn't sure if I was walking fast enough. I didn't want him to be annoyed that some girl wasn't walking fast enough. Eventually what ended up happening was there was a trash can sticking out in the middle of the aisle, and of course me only thinking, wishing I had eyes in the back of my head, I walked right into the trash can that was in the middle of the aisle, and it kind of flung me back, and I bumped into him. And so I literally, swung my face around so fast to him, and I was like, sorry, and then I just ran. I, took running. I could not even. I don't even know if he heard me say sorry because I didn't wait around to see if he, acknowledged me.
That is the best story.
It's awful because I can't be cool in any kind of situation, and that would have been a really awesome situation to be really cool and suave in.
I know. And he wasn't alone, right? He was with friends, I'm assuming.
Yeah, he was with two guys that I didn't recognize. It was probably just two of his buddies or whatever. And, that's the only reason, not besides the fact that I was so awkward that I didn't say anything, was because I was like, he's in the small theater. He's just with buddies. No one's saying anything to him. And then leave it to me to, recognize him and then, create a mob scene. But
you should have been like, I'm right? Amie. I'm District 7 PN recruiter. That's what you should have said.
Oh, God. He would have run away from her, probably.
Yeah, he wouldn't have stuck around any longer than he did. That would have been the worst. And then he would have probably told his publicist, there's this girl that writes for this website, and she's really creepy, so, we need to not associate with that website.
And he, so he was wearing you said a fedora, and I think you told me it was gray on Twitter.
Yeah, he was wearing a gray V-neck T-shirt and jeans and a gray fedora. He looked really similar to the pictures from the Vogue party. And when he left, he had put on that black leather jacket that he was wearing in those pictures we saw.
Very styling.
I know, he looked good, but he was shorter than me, and I was wearing heels.
Yeah, I think
listen to that, women. So short guys can still have something going for them. I just want to make sure.
I think he's 5'8". How tall is he?
He is, I actually don't know. I think he didn't seem 5'8". I mean, I'm 5'3", and I had heels on, and he was just a little bit, he was just a tad shorter than me.
Okay, I just Googled, and it says he's 5'7".
No.
Then, this says he's 5'4", but that was probably 4 years ago when he was
look,
14.
Here's what I say. I say I'm 5'7" on a good day. That's my line, usually. But I'm actually 5'6" and 5/8 of an inch, approximately. So what I'm saying is he's probably less than 5'7" if he's in movies. If you're in movies or sports, they always bump it up 1 or 2 inches. So you've got to figure he's probably more 5'5". Which gives short men all around the world.
Well, what I noticed, too, is, his jawline and his face is really super defined. And I noticed that, other celebs and things that I've just happened to run across, it just happens when, you live in this area, but they all have, really defined and, squarish jawlines and features. And it just is really strange because he looks so much softer in, pictures and on camera or whatever. His face doesn't look so, I don't know, squarish or whatever, but he was definitely a really defined jawline, and his nose and everything was just really kind of defined or whatever. And I don't know, but he looked a tad bit different to me than he did on camera or pictures.
Exactly. I believe it that because they always do with the makeup and the airbrushing and all of that. But that being said, with the real version that you saw, you'd still date him, right? Is that fair to say?
See, but I feel like a cougar. I'm like 5 years older than him, and so I feel like talking about PETA's one thing. PETA's like a fictional character, and he's like amazing. But then if I'm gonna really talk about like Josh Hutcherson, I feel like a cougar. I feel like if I were to go up to him and be like, "What are you doing tonight?" He'd be like, not anything to do with you."
Oh God.
Yeah, but think about it this way. If you look at all the experience he's had in Hollywood, it's like you're more mature and older mentally if you're in that kind of position. So I think
it's true.
You know, plus every fangirl kind of averages to about 18, I think, no matter what you are. Isn't that a fair thing to say? To some extent.
Averages.
I could get in trouble with that. I'm not even going to go down that line. Okay, so basically, here this leads to a segment, and this is a question for everybody listening out there. I know those in the chat room and on Twitter are going to want to answer this too. But we're going to pose this question to Mary and Shylah first to get a down with the capital perspective. And the question is, what would you do if you ran into Josh Hutcherson?